Hey, folks, good morning out there. It is this wonderful Saturday in Germany. It's raining outside, and I do not need to go to work. So, I would like to leave you a comment on the first Saturn return. This morning on Facebook, I was seeing a girl who was posting herself there um, with a comment of me 31 years old now. So this is kind of the end of the first Saturn return and her outcome, how she was looking like, dressed in a black skirt and kind of with some fur around her shoulders, high heels, everything in black and gray, lips very dark red, nails painted. This is how we all kind of have this Saturnian outcome after we had to face the first Saturn return. And depending on who you are with the rest of the chart, you may face a very harsh first Saturn return. Like, let me tell you about me. Like I have a Sag moon, and but I have a very Saturnian chart because I have Saturn on my MC from the 10th house, and this is like I would like to tell you that, I was a freak in my trends. I love to celebrate, to have party, to be with my friends, to have fun. We were out there in the 90s and really was celebrating like crazy, and it was nice the whole night through, kind of that. So and then came to me and all my friends who were of my age group our first Saturn return, and from one night to the next, it was all about splitting up, splitting up former relationships. They weren't working anymore because we all kind of turned inwardly and were thinking about I was refusing all that for ages. I hated my first Saturn return. I thought like, oh my god, everything is changing around me. So my whole age friend my whole friend group who was the same from the same age um I was, they all underwent this first Saturn return. I found them saying things like everything, it was from one day to the next, it was kind of shifting into from having fun and being together to just questions about job status symbols. How do you what kind of cloths do you wear, how maternal do you look like, from your outcome. It was all about kind of perfection. I hear a lot of people say about stuff about perfection. Right now I'm 40, I'm going to turn 49 years old soon, and into retrospective, I have to tell you that I think my first Saturn return, or the whole period of turning 30 until 40 years old, um, is something I really would like to have skipped, because I felt I was robbed of my fun, my laughter, or the parties, or the simple stuff, and was pushed into a world of um, my house, my car, my wife, my children. When will you get pregnant? Always this kind of asking about that. I do not have children until now. I'm too old for that right now, and I'm so happy that the world around me has stopped asking me for children, because it was such a horror. Even in jobs, it was always a kind of issue to get asked about that. What is your relationship status? Do you want to have children? Something like that. It was I personally found it absolutely horrific. I'm a former scout. I love to go camping on all that. And I thought, like, oh my goodness, it was all just about looking like Meghan Markle in the serious suits, like getting dressed like that, being very serious, being just there to do all this stuff that leads us into a far and rich future. And in the beginning of when we were 30, we thought we could um, how do you say it? We could manage all these wishes to come true with our own power, with solely putting our own power into this. And over the next decade, from the 30s to the 40s, we, I mean, especially the guys, were able to say, yeah, we made it. But we girls had to face kind of leaving the job because of the children. We had to face all these questions about getting pregnant or not in at work. Um, I didn't get a higher position. Many girls I know didn't get a higher position. It was into a higher position because of this. The girlier you look, the less you will get a higher position in the end, because everybody was of the opinion that you will have a stable partner, and with that you will have children and will leave the company in the end. So these were kind of the bygone times, but I don't know how much has been left of that until now. So your first Saturn return will not be over when it's over, and it's going to last. I thought my Saturn return from the beginning to the end kind of lasted approximately 3 years, when I thought I was pushed out of my comfort zone and was forced into a nightmare. To me, it was a nightmare. It was all about being the little prince being forced into a castle where you need to behave and where you need to have a certain outcome, an image. It was all about kind of image building, and you thought you could do that with your own hands. But in the end, you had to face that all that is also kind of um, very depending on your colleagues, your bosses, what kind of partnership you have. Um, it was also kind of the richer the better, something like that. Nice guys got sorted out who weren't able to earn that much money, kind of that. Girls, I heard my friends saying, the girls, I want to marry a doctor, I want to marry this or that, and some did, and it was like, but it was just a kind of a setting the mindset into the direction of perfection. This is all about the first Saturn return, and you kind of start believing it until you turn 40 or 43, when you kind of when you go into the midlife crisis. It's said midlife crisis, but this time really kind of starts freeing you from all this uh, stuff that holds you back from being showing off a human stuff, from leaving this point of perfection, from all that. It kind of frees you from all these stuff you had from your first Saturn return on to into your 40s or 43 years. um, which I found extremely stressful. If I could, I would just cut this period of my life into retrospective. I hated it. As I told you, I have a Sag moon, and I have Saturn close to my MC from the 10th house. So I was leaving the rainbow and milk and honey land and um, entered a prison. This is what I thought was happening to me regarding this Saturn return thing. It was all about maternal stuff. Do you have an own home? Do you have an own kitchen? It was all about learning how to cook for yourself, um, learning how to manage your income. You want to go further in your life. Um, it was all about the question, who's there for you? Who's your partner? Does your partner wants the same you want? I saw people forming relationships who were extremely into this. I take my power and build something up. I mean, Saturn is all about building. All the Saturnian people and the Saturn, the Capricorn suns out there are the builders in in our lives. We need them. But once you enter into this first Saturn return phase, it is when Saturn starts crossing your natal Saturn, when it comes back to into this position after approximately, what was it, 28.5 years, something like that. Well, I had the feeling that I felt it much longer beforehand. It started creeping into my life with tiny events, and it started off kind of long before the exact conjunction of the two Saturns happened. So it started creeping, like, come with tiny steps into your life, and then you go like, oh, I want you. It has to leave. Well, I'm a Sag moon, and I tried to go back to the fun, and it really didn't work out. It was nightmare fun. It was kind of, you were these questions are asked at the parties. There was nobody left who wanted to be into this fun state no more. It was all about questioning, what have you earned? What have you learned? What's your income, your outcome, your whatever? So it was kind of creating a collection for yourself where you can say, like, my house, my boat, and so on and so forth. So I thought that people who may have a a Capricorn moon or Venus or whatever, I think these are the people, or Virgo related people who have a Virgo moon, Virgo Venus, and so on. They are naturally into this realm of sorry, creating stuff and building stuff up long before other people may go into that. It is they are kind of more prepared to face such a Saturn, the first Saturn return, because they naturally kind of undergo, they bend down to structures in life more easily than other people does. The people who will really be in conflict with this will the people who have like me, who's having Saturn on the MC. It was so hurtful. I had my Saturn return in 2001 when we had 9/11, and or I think it was in 2000, I don't know, when we had this short before this 9/11 stuff was happening, and I had the Saturn return, Saturn on my Saturn and Pluto on my IC. They were opposing themselves. This was my Saturn return. A nightmare of sorts. It was. This really was a nightmare. So I really had to recover for a long, long period afterwards. And so I'm happy to just have left all this stuff And so I personally wish you a nicer Saturn return. um, I just can say that everybody who isn't made of heavy Saturnian stuff may not notice it that much. Depending where your Saturn is, you may get more in conflict when you have it in the angular houses, or exactly on the angles, or in conjunction with a Sun, Moon, Mars. Probably that will be a very harsh Saturn return as well, because um, or that. Um, and I hope that people who have Sag moons like I have, or Gemini moons, or the moons who are more into this chit chat thing, going out, having fun, and all that, you may feel pretty much cut off from that. So um, try to look at your friends who have the moon in Capricorn or in Virgo and Earth signs. Try to kind of copy them a little bit. Look what they do. Look how um, they handle life during this period. You may learn a lot from them, because the first Saturn return is a learning phase. You need to face maturity, and with what you learn there, this will be a head start off to the realm of maturity, mature, when you get old, um, for later in life, for your own future. You need to be serious about yourself, about your partnerships, and not be the little comic, the little comedian stuff. So this is a hard thing, to leave one image for the next. It's like kind of image change. You change. I wouldn't say you change for the better, because later in life there will be tasks you need to undergo that require a lot of Saturnian training, that you will be able to stand these sorts of life events in the end. So there will be something ahead for you in the future, like facing the death of your parents, of family members, of whatever. You need Saturnian, trained Saturnian stamina to go through these phases, and then it will be okay. But facing the first Saturn return will force you, no matter if you are prepared for it or not, it will force you into such realms and will shock you through, that you will prepared and a little bit more cautious for future events. You will start rethinking a lot, or you will understand that you cannot go through life into this funny comedian kind of thing no more. It doesn't work anymore from that point on. So you need new tools to create and develop new tools for yourself. And I've always find it funny to come back to the girl with fur around her neck and dressed in completely black with a dark red lipstick and dark red nails. It's like of the first interpretation young people who come from the 20s into their 30s have, like going back from the girly image more into the serious business woman image, and you create it with the tools you have, which is still painting the nails, being into all this clothing stuff still, and into fashion and all that. And so it's so funny to watch that. You will leave that once you get older. When you're young, you think like, oh, how boring it is. When you're older, you will be very happy one day to be able to just leave that all behind, because it's just when you're younger, you're very much into displaying yourself, through outlooks like your hair, your clothes, your whatever image or that. And then when you get 40, you will may understand when you face your Saturn opposition that certain things will not work the way you planned them. So with the first Saturn return, you enter an extreme planning phase where you want to make yourself believe that all your plans will work out well. Like Saturn and Capricorn love to think about themselves like our plans are the best, the perfect plans. I sometimes think that Saturn and Capricorn is more into perfection sometimes, into a perfect outcome in the end than Virgo is. But I think Virgo moons and Capricorn moons are so much into this perfection thing that I sometimes may hurt a little bit, and where you think so, where you may wish that they may be able to relax a little bit more and to trust more. And but they are what they are. This is what the Sag moon says now, but it's all okay, and we all can learn a lot from them. So take a look at your friends who have that and take them for serious. Maybe ask them, what would you do if you were into my shoes? So this is all a good thing to take a look at. And yeah, so what else? So I wish you a good Saturn return, no matter how horrific it might appear in the beginning. So you will be able to stand that. Let this all come in. Just let it just enter your life and come in, and try to go with the flow. Let it happen. Try to try to to just go with the flow. I mean, in the end, you will regain all that. You will be able to find your fun one day again. If not very early, you might find it again when you kind of get into your 40s or 50s or whatever, and then you will be able to really fully relax and start looking back and thinking like, wow, this was a very stressful period when you had your 30s. So I wish you a nice life, folkies. I wish you that you are brave and that you have stamina, and that you will not get too afraid because of all of that. You will be able to make it. It's all hard what you do for the first time, and it's hard to leave this younger phase and go into this maternal phase. And it's pretty much often more about like fake it till you make it. And I can tell you that the 30s are the fake it phase, and the 40s is the make it phase. So try to relax, focus, and try to find your peace in tiny gaps. Do not forget who you were before you went into all this stressful 30s phase. You need to you need to reconnect with the self you were when you're younger or when you were a child. And when you start feeling very bad and disconnected from yourself because all of the perfection you want to go into during the Saturn return, or much more after the Saturn return, because the Saturn return pretty much often shocks us through and through, so that we want to be just perfect in the end, so that nobody can hurt us that much for later on. But it's just it can be a phase where you get disconnected from your inner self and just live into this perfect world um, and you start suggesting it to the vicinity, to your friends, because your whole age group kind of does the same. And so start talking with your parents, with your aunties and uncles who are older. Start talking to children who are younger, who are not of your age group, and try to let them in a little bit more, and try to find some little relax gaps for yourself, every now and then, where you can go back to let go. Just let it go. Just don't be do not be perfect for just one day in a year. Just try it. This will reconnect you to this will relax you more. It's not good to always be so into this, do you say corset, like into this um prison, where you prison of rules and prison of perfection. This is really not good. You will not be able to stand that for a longer while. So it is okay to not be perfect. Always remember that, please. Please always remember that. It is okay. So I wish you a nice time and life, and a nice, um, I wish you all the best. You will grow, and don't judge yourself that much for stuff that maybe not worth it in the end. So have a nice time and be gentle with yourself. Don't force yourself too much. So um, yeah, be egoistic for yourself. Think what suits you and your life, and family is very important. Never forget that. When you're too much into job stuff and so on, try to get it off your brain and go more into family once more. This is what will carry you through time when you need it, and you will be of need of that sooner or later. So I wish you a nice time, focus. Bye for now.